Aunt Jennifer's Tigers is a beautiful poem, it's a powerful poem written by Adrienne Cicely Rich, who was an American poet, essayist, and feminist. She was born in the year 1929 and she passed away in 2012. She is one of the most widely read influential poets of the second half of the 20th century. She, being a feminist, she was all willing to stand up for the rights of women. And the present poem is a typical poem from her pen. It depicts the helplessness of women because of the social setup in which she is. Very often, women are married to very cruel husbands. They torture them, they exploit them. Okay, the same theme is found here also. On Jennifer's Tigers. Let's start reading her. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland, USA. She is widely known for her involvement in contemporary women's movement as a poet and theorist. She has published 19 volumes of poetry, 3 collections of essays and other writings. A strong resistance to racism and militarism echoes through her work. The poem On Jennifer's Tigers addresses the constraints of married life a woman experiences. This is a poem which can create some change in our thinking. It is just like a harbinger for a social change. It depicts the helplessness of a woman in a married life. It may not be true about every marriage, but some of the married lives that people live bring a lot of misery. People get married without knowing each other very well, without having a certain clarity about marriage. They do not know how they get married. Okay, then they create suffering for both parties. Okay, usually the party that suffers most is women. So Aunt Jennifer's Tigers depict the helplessness of women. Before that, let us see some tigers. Okay, tigers are said to be the king of jungle. Do you agree with that? Yes, lion or tiger? Still the debate is going on because there are many videos available online which depicts the power of both parties. Yes. Anyway, let us focus only on tigers. Tigers are really majestic and beautiful. They are powerful. Perhaps they are more beautiful than lions actually. With their yellowish topaz color. Yeah, the poem highlights the color. Alright, so the tiger. The Aunt Jennifer's Tigers prance across the screen. Aunt Jennifer is an artist. She being a housewife, she sits at home and stitches or does some embroidery works. And the screen that is mentioned here is the canvas. She is stitching onto a piece of cloth, which may be a tapestry. Tapestry means wall curtains. In our ancient days, people used wall curtains to cover the walls. Instead of paint, they used curtains. And these curtains had beautiful designs. So she may be doing some tapestry work, or she may be working on a tablecloth sometimes. Whatever. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers prance. Prance means, yeah, jump around, walk, run. Animals do that. Animals in their restlessness, they just move around. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers prance across a screen. How can the painted or embroidered works like a tiger painted or a tiger stitched on a cloth move? This is a question. Okay, they are not moving, but they seem to be moving with their total freedom and with their total energy. They are restless, they cannot be sitting still. So Aunt Jennifer has not really painted one tiger but many tigers. Okay, very often artistic expressions have a deep meaning. What is in your unconscious mind gets expressed in your artwork. So Aunt Jennifer is not a very powerful person. She is a helpless woman. She is damn afraid of her husband and his power. But in her mind, she wanted to be a powerful person. So she resorts to the help of artistic expression. Her art expresses her desire to be powerful. She wants to be powerful like a tiger. but she is helpless. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across a screen. They are moving around across the screen. And how are they? They are bright topaz denizens of a world of green. These tigers are living in a green forest, and they are like topaz. Topaz refers to a transparent yellowish gemstone. Topaz is a precious stone which is yellowish in color, and these tigers are looking like very precious stones. They are said to be citizens or denizens. Citizen and denizen have a strong connection. Citizen, we know. Denizen actually means an animal that belongs to a particular place. It can even be a plant that belongs to a particular place. So these tigers are described as topaz, yellowish denizens. They are citizens of the world of green. The world of green means the green forest. Okay, the color contrast cannot be ignored. The yellowish color and the green world, just like the daffodils that you have seen in the Thing of Beauty, living in a world of green. The daffodils are beautiful and soft, but here the tigers are powerful and majestic. They have a certain power. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. Some of the tigers that she has depicted are sitting on the branches of trees, hiding or maybe relaxing, but they are not concerned about the human beings below the tree. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace, they move around, they walk. They pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. Certainty means confidence, sureness, surety. Chivalric refers to, it's a very old English word having a great history behind. Chivalry is a quality associated with the medieval soldiers who are said to be knights, Knigsts. Knights were the medieval soldiers. The term medieval you may know, from 400 AD I think to 1500 AD. That time in history is called as medieval times or Middle Ages. During the time, the law and order was ensured by these knights. They are appointed by the kings and queens, and their responsibility is to move around in different part of the society, locality. They will be riding on horseback with weapons, and they are soldiers. They have certain qualities. The first quality, foremost quality is courage, chivalric qualities we call it. The first and foremost quality that they had was courage. They are not afraid of anything. They are not afraid of demons. They are not afraid of thieves and robbers. Their duty was to protect the weaker section of the society, and especially women and children. Alright, so now here the tiger's courage, tiger's certainty, confidence is compared to that of a knight. So the tigers pace in sleek chivalric certainty. The tigers seem to be very confident, and they walk around with that confidence. Confidence is a very good quality. We all should have it. Actually, education should give us confidence. Self-confidence, I mean. But I would like to add a point. Confidence without clarity can be dangerous. We should be confident, but at the same time we should have a clear understanding of the world around us. For example, a confident person will be very courageous, and he will go and go against a bomb which is about to explode. He can do it. He will go because he doesn't have the understanding. He doesn't have the clarity. I'm just giving an example. Okay, if you understand, and out of your understanding, if confidence comes, that's a different thing, entirely a different thing. Such a person with confidence and clarity of understanding will protect himself. Not only himself, he will protect the world around him. Okay, I'm just adding a note. Okay, Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across the screen, bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. Aunt Jennifer is a poor artist. She is weak. She is afraid of her husband. She is afraid of other men. But her artistic expressions, the tigers are not afraid of the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek chivalric certainty. They walk. The tigers walk with a certain surety and certainty. They know that nobody can defeat them. So they are just walking like medieval soldiers. They have the chivalric qualities. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool. She's using wool material that she uses for stitching is wool. So Aunt Jennifer's fingers, you can just now, just as in a film, you can see the fingers of this artist moving, fluttering, trembling either because of the fear of her husband, or trembling because she has to do the work in a hurry, because she can do the work only in the absence of her husband. Any moment he can come back. Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. Wool and pull are rhyming. Okay, she finds it too difficult even to pull a small needle out of the cloth that she's working on. Her hands are too weak because of hard work, because of fear, and her fingers are fluttering, trembling while she's doing the work. And she finds it difficult even to pull the needle out of her cloth. Why? The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Again a perfect rhyme. Band and hand. Okay. She's not able to do the work properly because she's chained somehow because of the marriage. Because she's married to the uncle, that is her husband. And during the time of marriage, people exchange wedding rings. The wedding ring is still sitting on her fingers. And because of the weight of that wedding, because the weight of his wedding band is sitting heavily upon her hand, and because of that she's finding it difficult even to do that embroidery work. The suggestions are many. She's not able to breathe properly because of the relationship. When the aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. That is, even after the death of the aunt, the terror that she experienced when she was alive will still be lingering on her fingers, because that uncle's wedding ring is still with her. Even when the aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie still. That word is used in a very special way. Will lie still. Of course, when somebody is dead, the fingers will not be moving. They will lie still. The next line again takes the still in a special way. Still ringed. Still also has this meaning always. Always ringed with ordeals. Ring actually becomes symbolic of the suffering of the marriage that she went through. Okay, so the fingers will still have the rings. It means the fingers will reflect the terror that she had in her mind. Okay, still ringed with the ordeals. Ordeals means intense suffering. She was mastered by or controlled by the ordeals of her marriage, and that ordeals and the suffering that came out of her marriage will still lie ringed on her fingers even after her death. So the lines are very complicated. Once again, even after the death of the aunt, the terror and the suffering that she experienced in her married life will continue. Her fingers will reflect, or fingers will display the terror that she had in her lifetime. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, but the tigers that she created on the screen, on the tapestry, will continue moving or prancing, will go on prancing proud and unafraid. The tigers will not be fearful creatures like her, but they will be very proud, and they will go fearless. They will wander, or they will run about without any fear of men beneath. Okay, so the tigers will continue reflecting her desire to be fearless. Her desire was to be fearless, but actually she was fearful in reality. Let us look at the vocabulary. Prance means walk or move around with high, springy steps. Springy, jumping, walking, jumping. Typical of animal movement. Prance. Topaz, a bright yellow colored stone, especially a transparent stone, is called topaz. Tiger color is compared here. compared to the color of the topaz. Denizens means connected with citizen. You know what citizen means? Denizen means an animal that lives or is found in a particular place. Sleek means elegant. Okay, let's look at that line once again. Sleek, talking about the chivalric certainty. The word adjective sleek is used. Sleek means very shiny, bright, etc. But here it means elegant. Sleek design, we talk about sleek design, something that is very bright and shiny, having a shiny appearance. Tigers are well made, well created by the artist. They seem to have a certain brightness and smoothness about their appearance. The tigers move in a sleek, chivalric certainty. They are very confident, they are beautiful at the same time. Thank you. Okay, now let's look at the literary devices used in the poem. It is written in 12 lines. 3 stanzas with 4 lines equally divided. The total poem is written with a rhyme scheme, and the rhyme scheme is AABB. AABB. The poem acquaints us with the poetic devices like alliteration, anaphora, imagery, inversion, personification, etc. Now let us see in detail what these terms mean. First of all, anaphora. Anaphora is not a very important figure of speech, but it's used by poets for different purposes. One is, of course, the musical effect. Okay, anaphora actually is a figure of speech in which certain words repeat at the beginning of successive clauses, phrases, or sentences. Some same word is being repeated. For example, Martin Luther King's famous speech, "I have a dream." He begins each paragraph with the same sentence, "I have a dream." Okay.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream.
Highlighting King's skills as a preacher, I Have a Dream was part sermon and part poetry, using rhetorical devices like repetition, rhyme, and vivid metaphor to drive his points home. It was peppered with historic, biblical, and literary references that moved the crowd.
All right. Now, in this poem, we can see the second and third lines of this poem are starting with they. All right. It's a simple thing. Now, let's go to the next figure of speech, which is nothing other than alliteration. You all know the meaning of alliteration. Alliteration is a figure of speech, and this is a special figure of speech. This is specially added to the poem for musical effect. This means the repetition of consonant sounds in poetry is called alliteration. Repetition of consonant sounds, not vowel sounds, consonant sounds. Certain sounds like pa 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 pa, ta 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 ta. Yes, this adds to the musicality. Fingers fluttering, fingers fluttering. Then another figure of speech that is used in our poem is climax. Climax actually also is a figure of speech in which words, phrases, or clauses are arranged in a certain order of increasing importance. Words or phrases are arranged in a certain way. You can feel an increasing power. So the words are arranged in an increasing order of importance. Our Aunt Jennifer's poem ends this way: "We'll go on prancing, proud and unafraid." Okay, this can be cited as one of the examples of climax. Next figure of speech is personification. You know what personification means? Personal qualities are attributed to non-living things. Non-human things are given human qualities. Like, for example, the moon smiled at the stars in the sky. The moon is said to be smiling. The non-living thing like moon is said to be smiling like a human being. Smiling is a quality of the human. My flowers were begging for water. Usually begging is done by beggars or by human beings. Okay, here that quality is given to plants or flowers. In the poem, in our poem, we come across the phrase terrified hands. Actually, it's a subtle use. Terrified hands. Who is terrified? The person is terrified. The terror quality is given to the hand of the person. Hyperbole. Hyperbole actually is another figure of speech. It means poetic exaggeration. It's our tendency to exaggerate things. You see a small group of people standing in the town. You will say there are thousands and thousands of people standing during the lockdown. There may not be even 10, but you will say thousands. It's a lie. It's a poetic lie, you can say, hyperbole. Okay, sometimes we say, it has been ages since I last saw you. When you see a person after some time, you say, it has been ages and ages, years and years, maybe just 1 week. Okay. Here in the poem, again we see a line, the massive weight of uncle's wedding band. A wedding band means a wedding ring. How much heavy is the wedding ring, or a band for that matter? It may not be that heavy, but the poet exaggerates and says the massive, it's as if 1 ton weight is there behind the band. Okay, now the next figure of speech is slightly complicated. Enjambment is a special figure of speech, which means it is continuing. Enjambment is continuing a line after the line breaks. You know, in poems there are line breaks. Each line ends, but there may not be a full stop indicating the end. This is what it is. Enjambment is continuing a line after the line breaks. Enjambment ends a line in the middle of a phrase, allowing it to continue on to the next line as an enjambed line. It has a special poetic effect. As a reader, when you read, you will feel that effect. When the line is continuing into the next line, there is no full stop, no punctuation as such. Okay, so in our poem we can see this line. On Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool, find even the ivory needle hard to pull. The idea incomplete. It looks like incomplete, but still it has a certain beauty about it. Her fingers fluttering through her wool. There is no comma or full stop or anything there. Find even the ivory needle hard to pull. Yes, actually the idea is she finds it difficult to pull the ivory needle. But the 2 lines, you can say there is the figure of speech called enjambment. Enjambment is a figure of speech connected with the structure, with the word, with the arrangement of words. Now the next figure of speech is also a complicated one, and that is called inversion. Inversion is a term used to refer to the inverting of the normal word order in a sentence or phrase. Writers will use inversion to maintain a particular meter or rhyme scheme in poetry. And in inversion, usually the English sentences begin with a subject, then verb and object. SVO, we call it SVO, subject, verb, object. Now if we change the word order for a certain particular effect, this is called inversion. Still ringed with ordeal she was mastered by. There's a beauty about the line again. Now what is the meaning of the line? Yes, her hands will lie still, having the ring of marriage, which shows the ordeals that she has got adjusted with. If you just write the idea in that way, it becomes prose piece, not poetry. So you can see there's a wonderful precision, there's a wonderful brevity exercised because of the inversion, because of the change in the word order. Okay, so these are some of the literary devices used in the poem.